So let's head to the next component, that is thought. So this is the heart of the MSc. Okay, thought is where everything else revolves around thought, right? So because when we read about the triad, the triad actually has thought, emotions and behavior. This is the triad. Okay, and all these things are actually affecting each other, and thought being the center of most of the things, it becomes extremely essential to assess the thought correctly. So when in mental status examination we assess the thought, we actually assess thought under 2 or probably 3 headings. Sometimes the 3 headings are clubbed into 2. One is known as thought content, another one is known as stream and form of the thought. Okay, so what is content? Content is the body of the thought. Okay, what is going on in the thought is known as the thought content. How is that content related? How is it coming out? Okay, what is the flow? It actually comes under stream and the form of thought or the flow of thought. Okay, so let's see thought content. Now the primary or the most important thing that needs to be assessed in thought is delusion, right? Many students during my teaching career as a mental health teacher, I find that students often get confused between delusion and illusion. Where does delusion fit? Where does illusion fit? Right? Always remember, delusion is a part of thought and it is a part of thought content, right? Because this is what the patient is thinking. Now let me give you the definition of delusion. What is delusion? Delusion is a fixed, false, unshakable belief that cannot be changed by rationalization. Okay, what does the statement say? It is a fixed, it is a type of belief, and this belief is fixed. That means it does not shift, it is fixed on one thing. Another thing, it is false. Okay, this belief has nothing to do with reality. And third thing, it is unshakable. That means no matter how much rationalization, how much explanation we give to the patient, that belief is not going to change. Now what is this belief? Belief is having trust on something, having a faith on something. I have faith on this chair. So before sitting on the chair, I just came and sat on this chair. Why? Because I was having faith that this chair is going to hold my weight. If I would have had lack of trust, I would have first checked whether this chair is stable or not, and probably then had gone and sat on the chair. So this is my faith or my belief. So we have faith in various things. Suppose we have faith in various entities of God, and that is why we follow various religions. Okay, so this is a belief or this is a faith. And what does the second part of the definition say? It does not change by rationalization. That means no matter how many tries you make to make the patient understand that this is not reality, this is false, the patient will not understand. So for example, suppose a girl says that Shah Rukh Khan is in relationship with me. Okay, so would you what would you do? Would you first hand believe that information? You would say, you are out of your mind. What are you talking? You stay 24/7 with us and you're saying that Shah Rukh Khan is in relationship with you. He stays in Mumbai, he has a family, he has a hectic work schedule, and out of that you're saying that he's, and the girl will say, yes, I am telling you, he is having a relationship with me. Okay. Now, because you are living with the girl, you know that these things that she's sharing is absolutely false. You will try to convince the girl, oh, what are you talking? This is not true. Show me the chat, show me the proof that you are in a relationship with Shah Rukh Khan. And she will say that, okay, I don't want to share the proof, but this is a reality. Okay. So time and again you try to give rationalization, you try to give explanation that this is not true, you have to stop thinking about this, you have to come out of this. The patient will not actually accept that thing. Okay, so does it fit the definition? What is the belief? The belief is that this highest celebrity, this celebrity is actually in a love relationship with this girl. Okay, is this belief true? Or first let me say, is this belief fixed? Yes, it is fixed. Is this belief true? No, it is not true, it is false. It is unshakable. Yes, it is unshakable. So does it classify in the definition, or does it fit in the definition of delusion? Yes, it does. Okay, so any type of this type of delusion is actually called as delusion of love, sometimes known as erotomania. Okay, so where a person feels that another person who is of higher stature or a famous celebrity is actually in a relationship with that particular person. This is one type of delusion. Another type of delusion is delusion of persecution. What is delusion of persecution? A person feels or thinks that someone is trying to harm me, or him, harm the person. That is called as delusion of persecution. Okay, so for example, the person will not have anything that is given by the neighbors. Suppose now festival is coming up. Let's take the example of Diwali, right? So Diwali is just on the brink. People come and give sweets. So this person will actually eat sweets of all the other places, but will not have sweets from a particular neighbor. And he will always say, these people are trying to kill me. Okay, these people are always trying to conspire, and these people are always trying to plot against me, and they are trying to kill me. They have mixed poison in this sweet, and that is why I am not going to eat this sweet. Okay, and also suppose the person says that they are always trying to throw garbage in front of the house. Someone else might have thrown the garbage, but the person will say they are always trying to throw garbage at my house so that I get ill. Okay, this is all classified as delusion of persecution. So is this thing true? So by the relationship that the neighbors are actually very good people, and he is having a classified thought for them that they are going to kill him, but in actual or in reality there is nothing like that. Okay, in fact, many of the people who are suffering from delusion of persecution are actually they actually complain that someone in the family is actually trying to harm them, or all the family members are trying to harm or kill them. Okay, so this type of delusion where the person is fixed on a belief that someone is going to harm or someone is going to kill them is called as delusion of persecution. There is another type of delusion which is called as delusion of grandiosity, where the person actually talks big things. He might say that, oh, you know what, the Prime Minister of the country actually takes my advice before launching any type of scheme. Okay, so this is known as grandiosity. They actually inflate a lot of things, and then they will tell, and they will say that I have a lot of power, and the supreme power is actually connected to me, and all these types of talks are called as delusion of grandiosity. Okay, so what do we understand? So these thoughts are actually covering majority of the content of the thought in this person. Okay, so that is important, that we try to understand if the person is having any type of delusion or not. And there are various other types of delusion: nihilistic delusion, delusion of jealousy, delusion of love, I have told, grandiosity, paranoid. So there are various other types of delusion where these delusions are fixed, false, unshakable beliefs which will not be changed by rationalization. But this definition is actually not complete. Okay, I'll tell you why. I'll give you one example. Now suppose there is a practice in a culture which is actually been done by the entire population of that particular culture. You take any culture. Okay, you can take any religious practice, for example, any in any religion. You can take any cultural practice or food habits in a particular society, right? So like one society actually, from children till elders, everyone smokes. We know smoking is injurious to health, but from children till adults, everyone will be smokers. Okay, why? Because it is a part of that culture. So can we say that this is delusion? Hmm? Or when you talk about religious things, there are certain practices which are practiced by the entire religion. Okay, and when we fit that thing into the definition of delusion, it actually classifies as delusion only. But why do we not consider it as delusion? Because delusion in most of the cases is actually individual. Okay, but only in certain cases this delusion becomes shared. Okay, this delusion becomes shared, and once this delusion becomes shared, it is actually called as Capgras syndrome, yeah, certain other terms. But it does not involve, remember this thing, delusion does not involve socially and culturally accepted practices. Okay, so we cannot say exclusively that the practice of this particular society or the practice of this particular religion also classifies as delusion. Why? Because socially and culturally accepted practices are not part of delusion. Okay, so delusion in majority of the cases it will be individual, it will be what a person is thinking. In some points this delusion might be shared. Okay, there was this mysterious serial killing. It was actually a suicide that was at New Delhi, known as the Boradi case, where 11 people from one family committed suicide by hanging from the ceiling. And recently, one of the streaming platform also made a documentary of it, and then another streaming platform came up with another type of story. So it was at that point in time when the incident happened, it actually shook the entire nation that how it is possible that 11 people of varied ages committed suicide by hanging at one same point. And later it was known after investigation that they were all having a shared delusion, which was actually initiated by one, and this delusion was actually shared by the entire family. Okay, so this was an extreme case where this shared delusion led to their death. They were actually thinking that they are going to hang themselves just like roots of the banyan tree, and then within few minutes they are going to come back to life. But that did not happen, and that was not supposed to happen, because they hanged themselves, tied their hands, and there was no chance of escaping death. Okay, so this type of delusion is actually called as Capgras syndrome, right? Okay. So one is delusion, another one is preoccupation. Any type of thoughts that are preoccupied in the mind. Okay, these are known as preoccupation. Preoccupations are thoughts that overrun or forerun the other thoughts. Okay, so these thoughts are constantly revolving in the mind. These are called as preoccupations. So sometimes we are preoccupied with our work. So patients might be preoccupied with people that are going to harm them, or might be preoccupied with some other sort of thought. Then next is obsession. Obsession is thinking about one particular thought time and again. In a disease, we have a disease that is known as obsessive compulsive disorder. These are repetitive thoughts. For example, thoughts that my hands are dirty, my hands are getting contaminated. So this person, because of this thought, because of the repeated thoughts, oh, my hands are dirty, my hands are dirty, I'm going to fall sick, my hands are dirty, will actually start to build up an anxiety. And to reduce that anxiety, there will be a compulsive movement because of which the person will go and wash the hands. And as soon as the person washes the hand, he will again within a span of few minutes will again start having those thoughts that the hands are dirty. So these are obsessive repetition of thoughts that are continuously running in the mind. Okay, so when we talk to the patients, we come to know that okay, there are certain thoughts which are time and again keeping repeating on themselves. So that is why they are doing this repetitive movement. So that is known as obsession. Another thing that is to be noted is this idea of reference. So there is a difference between delusion and ideas. Okay, delusions are ingrained, delusions are very firm, they are stable, they are unshakable, but that is not the case with ideas. For example, what is idea of reference? The person might think that two people are talking about me. So that happens to us also many times. When two people are talking, we sometimes feel that, oh, they might be talking about me. Are they discussing me in their talks? This is what is known as idea of reference. Okay, but when it keeps on happening on a regular basis, especially in patients who are suffering mentally, this is actually termed as an idea of reference. Okay, so what is idea of reference? They are having thoughts that probably two or more people are actually talking about them. Okay, ideas are not fixed. So how do we differentiate between delusion and ideas? We ask the patient, do you feel firmly that this is happening? If the patient is very adamant and keeps on repeating that yes, this is how it is, yes, this is how it is, then we say that this is a delusion. But if the patient is uncertain, or the patient says, I'm not sure, maybe, but we can assess from the talk of the patient that the patient is not 100% sure that this is what it is happening. So then we say that this particular thing is an idea of reference. Okay, so ideas always have uncertainty, delusions have they are fixed, they cannot be shaken. Okay, so this is ideas of reference. Then there is another phenomenon known as thought alienation. Thought alienation. Alienation means alien. The word comes from alien. Alien are extraterrestrial beings, fictional beings till now, but these are beings which are not part of the earth ecosystem. Right. So there are three things that come under thought alienation. One is thought insertion. The first is thought insertion. What is thought insertion? The patient will complain that these are not my thoughts. Whatever I am thinking, whatever I am doing is not what is I am thinking. It is, these thoughts have been inserted in my brain by some external force, by some electricity, right? These thoughts are being inserted and I am forced to think these things. I do not want to think these things, but these are inserted in my mind. So this is first thing that comes under thought alienation, that is known as thought insertion. Another type in thought alienation is thought withdrawal. The patient complains, oh, my thoughts are all taken away. I don't have anything. I don't know what to think. They are stealing away my thoughts. Aliens are stealing away my thoughts, or this particular entity is stealing my thoughts. Okay, I don't have anything in my mind. So this is known as thought withdrawal. Okay, so one is thought insertion, another one is thought withdrawal. The third is thought broadcasting. The patient says that, oh, whatever the things you are seeing in the billboards or in the advertisement boards or on the radio or on the TV are all my thoughts. These thoughts have been broadcasted. These are all being shown on TV and media. Okay, so this type of thought is actually called as thought broadcasting, where the patient says that his thoughts are being taken and are shown everywhere. Right, so these three kind of thoughts come under thought alienation. And lastly, in thoughts, we also assess about phobias. What are phobias? There is obviously phobias are associated with fear. Phobia is irrational fear. Irrational means it does not have any reason for being there. For example, many of us will be afraid of water or cockroaches or lizards. When we try to find the answer, there is no answer to it. It is completely irrational. This fear has got no basis. Okay, so we also assess phobias because of phobia the person might be very restricted. Okay, there is fear of height, fear of crowded places, fear of closed rooms. All these are types of phobias. So see how vast thought is. So this is all actually coming under thought content. So thought content is primarily what forms the thought. If I have a bottle and a transparent bottle, what will be the content? Content will be the thing which is inside the bottle. It can be water, it can be any cold drink, it can be juice, or it can be any hard stuff that can be filled inside the bottle, like grains of rice, anything. So what forms the content is what is inside the bottle. So thought, what is inside the thought forms the content. So I gave a lot of stress on thought because this is the heart of MSc. Now let's also come to the stream and flow of thought. Okay, so suppose if a bottle is filled with water, and if I open the mouth of the bottle and I try to pour the water, what will happen? The water will actually flow in a particular stream, right? And when the bottle when the water is flowing, I just cap the bottle again. So what will happen? The stream of water will be blocked. The same thing happens with the flow of the thought also, right? So I am speaking because I am having content in my head, and this content has been continuously been sent to my mouth, and because of that I am speaking. So this is known as stream of thought. And suddenly if my thought stops, I am not able to speak. This is known as thought block. Okay, so in stream, what do we see? Whether the stream is normal or the stream might be very quick. So if the stream of thought is very fast, the speech will also become very fast. Okay, so the theme of if the stream of thought is very slow, the speech will also become very slow. So we have to observe for racy thoughts, we have to observe for poverty of thoughts. When there is poverty of thoughts, the speech will also decrease. Then thought block, the thought completely blocks and the person is not able to initiate after that. And flight of ideas, I've already told, flight of ideas is rapid racy thoughts which do not have any linkage with one another, and they are rapidly flowing in the mind, and there is no particular theme. Then there is another thing that known as clang association. Clang association is when a person talks in rhymes, ding dong, sing song, ping pong. Okay, all these are what? Clang association. So the person will actually try to rhyme words and talk. Okay, that is called as clang association. And then also self muttering, self smiling, self mumbling, these are all also coming under stream and flow of thoughts. And two more interesting words, circumstantiality and tangentiality. Okay, circumstantiality and tangentiality. So what are these? They're very important things, right? So these both words are derived from the circle. Okay, so circumference, so circumstantiality comes from this circumference, right? So circumference is what I try to explain this in this manner. So there is a point, and from that point we draw a radius, and actually when we draw the whole 360 degrees, it becomes a circle. In circumstantiality, what happens? We ask the individual or the person a question, and this person will not actually come to the point, or sorry, in circumstantiality, the person will actually tell you a lot of things in and about, and then will actually come to the point. Another word is tangentiality. What is a tangent? A line that actually passes and touches the side of the circle at any point in angle. This is called as a tangent. So in tangentiality, you ask the person a question, the person will give you an answer, but the answer will never come to the point. Okay, for example, morning you go to the ward, you ask the patient, how are you, did you have breakfast? So the patient will say, oh yeah, I got up in the morning, and early morning I went for a small stroll in the corridor of the hospital, and then I talked to some more people. Guard was also there, their shift was changing. I talked to the guard, and then I came back and I read newspaper, and then I went to the bathroom, I took bath, and after taking bath I came and sat on my bed, and then they served me poha and tea. So what was the question? Did you have breakfast? Did you get the answer? Yes. But with all the other details surrounding the time of the breakfast. Was it required? No. Okay, so this type of response where the patient actually comes to the point but actually involves all the other things is known as circumstantiality. Now what is tangentiality? Same question. Did you have breakfast? Oh, morning I woke up early. I went for a walk in the corridor of the hospital. Then I met few other people, talked to the guards. Shift was changing, I was talking to them. I came back, I read newspaper, and I had bath, came and sat, and now I'm talking to you. Did you get the answer? No. But the patient shared everything associated, everything other associated with the time of the breakfast. This is called as tangentiality. Okay, so these are the things, these are the types where the thoughts are actually, you know, associated. How are they coming out? What is the stream? What is the flow? Right? What is the form of the thought? These are all coming under the form of thought. So we have seen thought content and thought form. So this forms the entire thing in thought.